Yes. So what is happening? Who we got? Some amazing people today. Do we have the sales sorceress in the building?
She's here.
What's up, sales
You there,
sorceress?
Bella?
Yes, I am here.
Why are you holding up this show again?
I was like, should I start this show with that? Because you sent me the text earlier. I was like, is he trying to get rid of me? Should I just be leading this show without him? What's going on?
All right, let's take it in, Gina. Thanks, guys.
He was where Barb Maynard is. Well, all right, let's
go, Gina. Let's go.
We have an outstanding contestants here today. Mr. Mark Skoda is the CEO of Neptune FS Global Inc., which is a water remediation technology and manufacturing company providing patented solutions for processing polluted water and turning into clean potable water. And he's passionate about sustainable technologies. That is.
You can say
Mark
that 3 times fast. That's
no,
right.
I don't think I could, Mark. But we were
Mark,
just
what's
having
up,
a
brother?
conversation
How you
about
doing on this fun
Great,
podcast?
thank you. Great to be here. Looking forward to experiencing this with you all. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah, thanks for being here. What's your fun fact today, brother?
Well, actually, I'm a band dad. I managed my son's band. He's a young producer and musician. He's a drummer. We started a band. So for the past 4 years, I've been helping them grow their band, grow their reputation, and
Amazing.
get out on the various streaming markets. It's been
What kind of music? What kind of music does he play?
Primarily rock and rock pop. And they're writing their first album right now. They've released 3 singles, and they're having a blast.
That's extraordinary. And who's your favorite artist?
For me, I'm a throwback guy, right? So I'm a 60s and 70s guy.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, I mean, growing up, I can remember at 9 years old listening to the Beatles in my bed on my transistor radio. And I Want to Hold Your Hand was the very first song I heard them sing. So it's always been a special place, along with Led Zeppelin.
Well, and what's your favorite? So I would, first of all, Mark, I would hold your hand. Second of all,
This just got weird.
It got real weird. So, are you like, is Stairway to Heaven the greatest rock song of all time, or you go a different route?
Actually, my favorite song of all time is probably Hotel California, and then followed really by, I have to say, it's a close second for Stairway to Heaven. Although it's interesting story about Stairway to Heaven because they actually didn't like the song, but it's just such a cool vibe. Everybody loves the song, and the band was really hated playing it.
I did not know that, but I love that there's 4 distinct tempo shifts. Amazingness. And Bella is very used to like checking into hotels that she can never leave. Is that fair, Bella?
That is true. That is true. I do a lot of hotel checking in.
Okay. Where you can never leave. Okay, Mark, like kind of the unblinded ecosystem. So Gina, thank you, Mark, for being here. What's we got?
All right. Next, we have Rick Bender, who's a founding partner of Avenue Solutions, along with his partner, Barb Maynard, who is also part of the Unblinded movement, which is why I was just saying that. She was just in the other one, right? Hang on. Rick has been in the employee benefits industry for over 30 years, including various roles as head of national underwriting for one of the largest insurance companies in our country. He started his own employee benefits brokerage and consulting firm over 10 years ago, and currently serves as the president of the Kiwanis Club of Carson, California.
Nice. Rick, what's up?
We are not going easy on Rick today.
Uh-oh.
Yes, we are not. And by the way, Rick, I think when last we spoke, it was from Necker Island with Bella.
That's right.
In a sales training dynamic. Is that fair?
Yeah. Your background was pretty interesting then. Although that background looks nice, but not like the island.
That was right. So Rick, thank you so much for being here today. And what's your fun fact?
I'm going to pick up on Mark's musical note in that I had several jobs to get me through college. And one of them was I was a wedding singer with my wife. And so that's how we got together. And, we don't do too many weddings anymore, but that's how we made some bucks through college.
All right. What was your favorite song to sing as a wedding?
What's love got to do with it?
Nice.
What's love got to do? Got to do with it.
No,
Go, Bella.
a little sarcasm there, but that's what we would do. We would tell people that, hey, we're going to lead off with this one, and we watch their eyes go, what?
Well, it is a
So that
pleasure.
wasn't your favorite song.
When next we meet, maybe we can all gather on Necker and continue to rocket up the amazing impact food chain that you're building. So thank you, Rick, for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So Gina, we got some judges for Mark and Rick.
Judges. Steven Goldberg is the owner of David versus Goliath, is a trusted advisor and counselor to those in need of medical attention that one needs and deserves, which arises from the negligence of others. He is an arbitrator of conflict resolution and levels the playing field for those who are in need of a voice that don't have one. So that is amazing.
Steve, that's awesome, man. Where are you coming from today?
I come from South Florida, and excited to be here and just want to see what's going on with you folks. Heard a lot of good things about you from Adam and others. So let's see where this takes us.
Yeah. So what did you hear? I'm just curious. What do you think we're doing here with these crazy people?
I don't know. I'm trying to decipher, but it's funny. I've walked many walks and many paths, so not afraid to walk a new path and kind of see what's going on. I do like the story that you're about there, Sean, and met some of the fellas that connected around your law firm. I've been in the med legal world for almost 35 years, and had a fellow who wanted to open up some PT clinics and so forth. I thought that there was a bigger play for it, and then met some other folks that were part of your group and saw where it was going. So just wanted to see and come out and hang out a little bit and see what's going on. And you just never know where these little threads may take you from a friendship, point of view, or just from an enjoyment point of view. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. And can I lend a hair of insight?
Sure.
Right. So you have a lot of relationships in business, I presume, after 35 years, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. How is every single one of those relationships built? Every single one is one thing in common about all of them. It's the most basic, fundamental thing you could share.
The most basic thing that I could share when it's coming from my perspective is just open honesty. There's a lot of folks come at you with agendas and so forth, and I just don't. I'm not down with that. I'll come from a very open perspective, and just what you see is what you get.
Now, but somebody could have open honesty on a subway car and scream at you that they don't like your shoes. That could be open honesty, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it would be open honesty in the context of a shared experience. Sure. So if somebody has a significant other, have you ever had a significant other in your life, Steve?
Yeah, I'm currently married now.
Congratulations.
Thank
you.
So
when you first went connected with your wife, I'm hallucinating you had some sort of a shared experience. Is that fair?
I probably had a lot of shared experiences.
Yeah. But you went on a first date, probably, right?
Yeah, we did go on a first date. It was not the ideal date, but we did have a first date.
Okay. And that was a shared experience, right?
Correct.
And every single client, partner, employee you've ever had, you had to have a shared experience together. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And it could have been going miniature golfing. It could have been jumping out of an airplane like Bella and I did. It could have even been when Gina had a bloody nose and spit blood at me accidentally, that happened. It was a shared experience. But there's a shared experience dynamic. Could be going to a restaurant, the Capitol Grill, grabbing some chicken McNuggets. Could be going on a trip together. It could be going for a walk in the park. But all those things are shared experiences. Sure. This is a shared experience. It's all it is. In an accelerated, gamified way, so it opens listening and accelerates connection and getting to know each other. That's it. You go, it's like a networking event. I don't think so, because I don't think this feels quite like any networking event I presume, Steve, you've ever been to. Is that fair?
It's definitely a fair statement, sure.
Yeah. So that's what this is. It's the beginning of the creation of relationship amongst people as a shared experience with intentionality, so people can do different things together. So I really thank you for jumping out of the plane a little bit and being here today, and appreciate that very, very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And your fun fact for today would be?
Fun fact for today is I have an identical twin brother. And with him and I, we were both in a 6-year med student until I casually fell off a Space Mountain in Walt Disney World, which set my path in a complete different way.
Oh, that was you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Gina, Bella, have you ever been on Space Mountain?
I have definitely been on Space Mountain.
Yes.
So now, Steve, going on Space Mountain would be a magical shared experience for a lot of people, correct?
Absolutely.
Definitely a magical shared experience for sure.
Definitely a magical place, no doubt.
Amazing. So let this let this be our Space Mountain together today, Steve.
I'm for the wild ride. Thank you.
It is a wild ride too,
Wild
my
ride.
friend. Don't be confused.
All right. So thanks, Steve. Gina, who we got to go with Steve judging today?
All right, we have Renata Bjorkman.
Renata's in the building.
Hello.
Hey, Sean. How's it
She's an
going?
investor, a business development consultant, and her specialty is turning businesses into worldwide destinations. After graduating from USC, she worked in television, publishing, and with large blue chip brands out of London and Hong Kong for 15 years. I think you've met Renata already, it seems like. Welcome, Renata.
Hi.
Hi, Renata. How are you?
I'm doing great, Sean, here in Santa Monica still. Yeah, thanks for inviting me. This is awesome.
Well, thanks for being here. And I didn't know you went to USC, though. I don't think I did.
Yeah, both Russell. I don't know if you remember my husband, Russell. Both he and I did USC. Yeah, undergrad. Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. That is a lot of fun.
That was one of our shared experiences. Once we started dating, we were like, oh,
I would imagine there were a lot of shared experiences at USC.
Yeah, we met at an alumni club he was running out in London. It was like, oh, you have that too.
Super cool. And when you were at USC, did you attend any sporting events, or like what was your socialization dynamic?
I went to the football games. I think like all good students. Yeah.
Cool.
And then I played club soccer for the SC girls club, not the actual team, but the club.
That's really cool. And Notre Dame was a big rival of USC, right?
Yes.
So I was a big Notre Dame fan. So the USC game I would always watch, and it was always a lot of fun. So Renata, I'm super thankful for you being here. And how about a fun fact?
My fun fact I listed, I was trying to think of something. I speak 5 languages. That's 2 of them are getting rusty, but yeah, the first proper job I had was for a TV channel out of London. It was like it was the European equivalent of the BBC, and they transmitted in 7 languages, so it was really handy when I worked there.
Do you speak you speak Londonese?
Actually, that is a language all unto itself. There's East End. There's a posh West Side. Yeah.
Renata, what languages do you speak?
I speak English, Spanish, and Portuguese fluently, and then I'm okay in French and Italian.
Very nice. Can you let's see? Can you share your fun fact in Portuguese?
Eu posso falar 5 idiomas.
There you go. Well, thank you, Renata. We'll translate that later for all listening.
Yes.
So thank you for being here. And Gina, we got to go with Steve and Renata. One more judge.
We have one more judge, Ruth Dorsonville. Ruth is the CEO of Diversity Executive Search and the founder of Recruiting and Staffing World, Millionaire Recruiter Club, and a chairwoman of DNA Staffing Corporation. She worked on Wall Street as the VP of New York Staffing, was featured in Inc. and Forbes magazine. Her company received an award for Outstanding Business Enterprise by the National Minority Business Council. Ruth left Wall Street to become a humanitarian and a conscious entrepreneur, and is the author of DNA of Happiness, spelled HAPPY Ness.
Nice. Well, Ruth, that is some impressive stuff. You've been up to some things. So thank you for being here, and how are you doing this fun Friday?
Thank you for having me. I'm amazing, and I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, amazing you are, no doubt. And what is your fun fact, Ruth?
I am a sunset. I have a nickname called Sunset Queen. When I retired and sold my company about 3 years ago, I traveled around Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, and I've been taking sunset pictures each and every single day before COVID, each and every single day. So now I'm back in Miami, and I'll continue to go back and take sunset pictures each and every single day. So that's my fun fact.
Congratulations. And we talk a lot here in the unblinded world of people wanting more money and/or more time and/or more magic. And it sounds like you lived that path. You built, you grew, you scaled, you exited, and you're enjoying magic, impact, fun, and all those things. So congratulations on living an extraordinary life in our capitalistic America.
Thank you.
Awesome. So thank you. Yeah. And not only do we have Ruth, we got one more amazing person here, Gina, besides, of course, you. And who is that?
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, of course, it is the sales sorceress, Bella Verita herself. She built a multiple seven-figure real estate company, becoming the #1 business broker in the state of Nevada. That is a big deal. She places more women salespeople than anyone else in the country at Align Sales, where she is the CEO.
Bella Verita, what's happening, rock star?
Hello, all the way from Austin, Texas.
Texas is in the building. So Bella, what is your fun fact, my friend?
My fun fact, well, my fun fact, you spoke earlier about this very entertaining evening that we had where Gina was like spewing blood all over you. And I just had this like surgery on Tuesday, which I have inadvertently had like this kind of regular little nosebleed going on. And I have been imagining, how can I join the like nosebleed spew on Sean club? That just sounds like fun. But I just haven't figured out how to do that all the way from Texas to New Jersey yet.
You're absolutely ridiculous at all times. Sales sorceress, Bella is as disruptive, persuasive, fun, magical, and influential as they come. So Bella, thank you for being here today. And she beat me in wrestling on a trampoline off of Necker Island. That actually happened. And I was like a big time high school wrestler back in the day.
That's true.
So yes, Bella Verita.
And I've won bets against you that like nobody else has been able to win in 10 years. So basically what we're saying is I'm just better than Sean, but we can continue.
That is very true. As are you, Gina. And thank you so much for being here today, Gina, and for all that you do. And how about Gina? What's a fun fact for you?
Okay, well, for giving away I'll just tell everyone about the fun fact of the nosebleed situation, because it was a little crazy, a little zany. We were together all at a hotel room.
Wait, we have two musically inclined people. You're not going to tell them that you made out with Bruce Springsteen?
You should see Renata's face. Like her jaw just dropped and she's like, wait, what's going on?
This just got very interesting.
Gina,
I'm happy.
Right? It's not true, Gina, is it? Like, I don't like help me.
I mean, it might be a slight exaggeration, Sean. A slight. I did have.
Well, let's get into this. This is the Real Raw, and we talk about language and precision. So, how do you define making out, Gina?
That would be.
It's fun Friday. Like, come on, it's fun Friday.
Tongues, open mouths.
Would you like for me to describe making out? Because I can go there.
Bella will show us.
Okay. So it doesn't qualify as that. So it was like, were lips touched?
Corner lips. That's what was touched. Okay. I promise you that it went no further than that, because I was uncomfortable with the whole thing. And I was like, I gotta go. I don't know what's happening.
So if anybody wants to know more about that, just message Gina in the chat and she'll tell you the story offline. It is Fun Friday. We love you, Gina, and have a beautiful and fun weekend. And if you see Bruce, tell him that I send my love.
I will do that. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Gina.
I
don't think it can count as making out if you don't swap spit. I think that's the definition of making out.
Okay. Well, we will figure that out later and hear from all of our participants. Before we end this, we will define making out. Yes. Thank you.
All right.
So we're going to begin with Rick and Mark. Who's going first today?
Ooh. Mark, choose a number between 1 and 2.
2.
2. Rick, you get to decide who's going first. Is it going to be you or is it going to be this rock star Mark?
I will go first.
Look, see, leadership. See, that's the kind of people I attract, Sean. Leaders. We just go first.
Yes, I follow you, Bella, wherever you go. Thank you. So, Rick, Bella will be anybody you want her to be. She'll be an ideal client, an avatar, a specific person. Because what we're doing here on the Real Raw is unpacking the superpower of influence. And influence is not a linear differential. It's not even exponential differential at times. It could be an infinite differential. Like you might hire people that book 0 sales meetings in a month and somebody else might book 100. And 100 is not a little better. It's not even exponentially better. It's infinitely better, because 0 times any number does not equal 100. There's an infinite differential. So we've had some unique distinctions about that. Like, who are you? What do you know about this? We'll talk about that later. Do a little demo. But first, Rick, who would you like Bella Verita to be? Whatever a relevant yes to you in the world is. And by the way, it is not Wolf of Wall Street meets Boiler Room. It's heart-centered, integrous. Hello to yes. So who would you like Bella to be?
I think I'd like you to be the CFO of a 500 employee company.
Got it.
All right. Amazing. And judges, We're not looking for a yes in this first round. It's 6 minutes overall. Rick is going to be interrupted halfway through. What we're assessing in this first round is not the ultimate yes, not how Rick presents himself in his story, but more how he connects with Bella and whether or not Bella's listening is open, because Rick is congruently unique. So Bella becomes curious. Scale 1 to 10 we'll be judging on after this, a little bit of feedback. So Rick, are you ready, sir?
I am ready.
All right, take us in, please.
Okay. Hi, Bella. How are you today?
I'm excellent, Rick. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. And I want to start off by thanking you for making this time available. I know everyone is so busy. I'm sure you're included. So I really appreciate you being here today. And I hope that you're in these trying times able to find your own new normal in a successful way. Is that happening for you?
I would say I'm definitely finding a new normal in a successful way. It's a great way to put it.
Yeah. And seems like every day is defining something new. It's a new challenge. So I'm glad to hear that's going well for you.
Isn't that the truth right now for sure?
Yeah. So the good part is that we get to discover something new every day for ourselves and define that new normal. But in these times too, it's also very challenging in terms of what's happening with our economy and things like that. So like many people today, budgets are stretched very thin. People are trying to do or survive with far less than they had before. Are you struggling with any of those sorts of things lately?
I mean, we've definitely ran into some of those challenges for sure. You know, COVID definitely affected us in some significant ways.
Yeah. You know, one of the big areas that tends to have an impact on is the budgets of companies like yours, especially as it relates to their employee benefit programs. Because typically employee benefits are, you know, maybe the top 3 expense item for an organization. So what I wanted to do is spend a little time with you talking about an innovative idea to help you with that. Do you have some extra time to listen for a few more minutes about that?
Yeah, I have about a minute and a half right now, and then I've got to take a quick call. So, and then I can definitely circle back with you for sure.
Okay, cool. I can make that time frame. So I've been in the employee benefits industry for over 30 years, and I've seen a lot of ideas come and go. And all I really wanted to do is spend some time with you to educate you and possibly anyone else on your team that would like to know about an innovative new program in the employee benefits world that helps employers save tons of money on their healthcare spend, but believe it or not, also provides an enormous benefit for all of your valued employees and their families. And it's at no cost to you as the employer. As a matter of fact, you save money and it's at no cost to the employees. And it's all the result of an innovative combination of very old tax codes that are being combined in a new way. And I really just wanted to spend some time to educate you about this new program and see if it fits for you and answer any questions that might come up as a result.
Yeah, so from what I'm understanding is it's not going to cost me anything and it's going to save me money. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, I got to take another quick call right now. However, give me a few minutes and I will call you back.
That's cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Rick, well, that sounds fun. Saving money, costing nothing. So how'd that feel for you?
That's fun.
It felt awkward, but not terribly.
All right, we'll reach in. So how about this? Mark, are you ready to go?
You bet.
Awesome. Who would you like Bella to be?
Bella, you are a field services engineer for an oil company.
Whoa.
Wow.
You're running a Texas oil company. It's like the Beverly Hillbillies in the house. Bella, take us in.
Hi, Mark.
Bella, good to meet you. How are you doing today?
I'm excellent. How about yourself?
Good. Well, you know, I appreciate your time, first of all, and wanted to find out. It's kind of interesting because you're a female in a largely male-dominated business. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you find coming up in the oil industry was your experience?
Yeah, so I kind of grew up in this, you know, my grandfather, my dad, and then myself. I think ideally, you know, my dad would have loved to have had a boy and he didn't. He had a girl. And so I didn't really have a choice but to, you know, learn the oil business. And it became, you know, fascinating. Sometimes it's fun to be, you know, the only girl on the field, if you will.
You know, I think, and women bring a very different perspective to this industry because, you know, it's full of a lot of rough guys. I mean, they're doing oil wells and drilling and the like, and I'm sure you're out there probably in your overalls and having at it on some well heads. So what'd you find out have you worked in the Permian Basin, for instance?
I mean, yes, I've done lots of things with wheel heads and things like that, most definitely.
Are you married?
Why is that relevant?
Well, because I thought, it's kind of interesting. I'd love to hear your perspective on the relationship between, being out there with these gentlemen that are working in the field and the tough, rough tumble, and frankly, what your husband does to support you in your efforts in growing in the business.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective. I've never really thought about it that way. But typically when I'm in the field, I think, because I've grew up in this industry, is I definitely have the ability to hold my own. I'm not showing up to the oil fields in mini skirts and things like this, so to attract any sort of different attention. And I know enough about the business where I have absolutely established a level of respect with the other men in the field. And so it's not too often that really anyone else has to get involved.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that, because I've been in this industry for many, many years, and frankly, it's a very parochial industry. You have to understand that. I mean, these guys are wildcatters. Start off with a lot of entrepreneurs. I look up in the Dakotas, for instance, in the Bakken area, which was really wildcatted by Harold Hams. And this guy owns 80% of one of the major oil companies in this nation. So it is a very interesting process that so many people who are entering this industry, and particularly now, as you're probably finding out with the price of oil, has been pretty challenging, hasn't it?
Yes, most definitely. So I'm fascinated to see where this conversation goes, but I have another call I need to take right now. And then I'll be back and call you back in just a few minutes.
Very good. Thanks.
Excellent. Mark, how'd that feel?
Good. I mean, clearly, as I understood sort of the idea of just finding a little bit more about the relationship there and who Bella is. And certainly she obviously was sensitive to the question of marriage, which I understand, but obviously family and support structures are important. And certainly my experience has been that's critical in sort of how people are moving through their lives and efforts as it relates to business.
Cool. All right, Bella, how'd that round one feel for you with Rick and Mark?
My curiosity is piqued.
Nice. All right. So let's go to the judges. The question is congruent uniqueness. What level is curiosity peaked at? And is there head to head or heart to heart? Where's that connection level? Let us start with Steve. What do you have for round one? 30 seconds of feedback. What worked well? What could be optimized? Let's start with Rick, please, Steve.
With Rick, I think it was just a little bit slow paced in connecting it, as far as being, it seemed to me more of an elevator pitch. So I would have went a little more to what her wants and needs were, as opposed to trying to explain who he was. Obviously, if she's taking the call, she may have at least some inkling of who she is. I would rather him just have, find out a little bit more, where she was at with what his product was being sold.
Cool. Excellent. And Bella?
And your score is? Nice catch there, Callaghy.
Thank you.
Score 1 through 10, I'd say a 6.
Excellent. Awesome. And what do you have for Mark?
So for Mark, very upbeat on his conversation. The only thing that I felt that the conversation went sideways once you start asking about a spouse. That even though he wants to go ahead and find out, the family dynamics at this first conversation, that might be a touchy subject in regards to what's going on in their lives right now. I think it's not relatable to wildcatting oil. I've done that out there in the oil field. So to me, I just wouldn't have went there.
And your score is? On
that, I would say a 5.
Wait, Steve, you have wildcatted oil and that was not your fun fact?
No, it's not a fun fact. It was short-lived. It was with a cousin, and my family tends to kind of get into different things and try it out.
Very nice. I would love to hear more about wildcatting oil. Bella, does that not sound intriguing?
This does sound very intriguing.
Still involved in it out in Colorado and out in that part of the woods.
Yeah, like after wildcatting for oil for the day, like where does one eat dinner?
Out in the field, chuck wagons and so forth. You're pretty much way
chuck
out
wagons, wildcatting. Bella, this is right up your alley. Please give the brochure to Bella, Steve. I think she's okay.
Totally
my first date with my wife was a motorcycle ride to an outlaw party. So
that's awesome.
Right. And Steve, all kidding aside,
yes,
right? in that moment, and like, this is not a game and a trick. This is what we're doing here.
Right on.
Right? Like, you just right there, you're like, yeah, my first date with my wife was like, you know, a motorcycle to an outlaw party. That's super fun. Right? And when we have fun with people, we have shared experiences and we start connecting, we go deeper and deeper into our hearts. That's how relationships are created and things accelerate in all different directions. So thank you for having fun today. That was an awesome, dude, like wildcatting, motorcycles with your wife to outlaw. What the hell is an outlaw party?
The Motorcycle Club Outlaws.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yes, you're like, Bella wants that brochure. This is amazing. We're not.
That's why she fell in love.
I actually snuck out of what I was supposed to be doing in Orlando. I had the presidential suite for an event that I was attending, and I was sneaking out of the party to go to this motorcycle party, and she caught me. And she's like, and she wasn't my wife at the time. She worked for me, and she's like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, such and such. She's like, "Can I go?" I'm like, "Sure." So she was dressed up in a business suit. I was dressed up in biker garb, and there we went.
I love this story.
That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. We'll come back in a little bit with the Wasted Ones and my connection to that affiliated group. I was not a member. So yes, amazing. Thank you for that. Renata, how are you doing? And what do you have for Rick?
Great, thank you. Yes, Rick, thank you for that.
Renata, I'm sorry to interrupt. Were you part of a motorcycle gang at one point?
No, I was not.
That gang was not the one I was involved with. Just kidding.
So please, back to you, Renata.
That particular one. Similar to what Steve said. So Rick, yeah, I felt a little bit like the energy was almost like she would have been like the fourth call of the day. And Bella was very gracious. Like you said, the elevator pitch, and I almost felt like you had magic in the using old tax codes in new ways. And it was almost like I wanted to hear that right away to give space to let Bella talk more about what was going on in her world and painting out her world a little bit more. Because I think there was like too much info about you that you could have summarized really quickly.
And your score is?
Oh, sorry. My score is a 6.
Excellent. And how about for Mark?
And for Mark, I thought the energy was great. And when you started in like becoming interested, curiosity with that respect about her being female, it was great. It did go sideways with a married question. I think instead of that, I would have liked to hear more about her skills, like you asking her about her female skills with direct relation to the job, to like open her up a little bit more. But I loved the curiosity and the energy. So that was a 6-2.
Nice. Renata, thank you. And Ruth, what do you have, please, for Rick?
All right. So actually, I've actually felt that it was a great call. I actually love the energy, and maybe because that's more of my energy as well, which is very calm, trying to get to know the person. So I felt from a connection level, it was actually pretty good. I love that he talks a little bit outside of the business about the new norm and actually understanding what's going on with this particular person and their life and their business right now. And I loved what he has to offer, the no cost and saving price. The only thing, of course, for both call is the next step. What is the next step? And closing that call towards that.
Nice. And a score?
A 7 out of 10.
Sorry, Bella. Yes.
I'm going to get you a red wig that you're going to have to wear.
Thank you. And Ruth, what did you have for Mark, please?
So for Mark, I thought the energy was great. The connection was great. I felt that the call, obviously, because this was a person from the oil industry. So as it seemed as though Mark has a lot of experience within that world, and the way that he communicated seemed very specific to that world. From somebody from the outside, I felt that it was a little bit too much on her gender versus the actual business. And the question, by the way, it is illegal to ask. You cannot ask for marriage, and that's my industry, so it's illegal to ask for marriage and compensation. But overall, it was a great energy. And of course, the next step. What is the next step? And closing that call. That was the only thing that was missing.
And your score for Mark?
I would give a 6 out of 10.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you for that feedback, Ruth. We are ready for round 2. Bella Verita, are you ready to go?
I am ready.
Nice. So Let's go right to Mark since we reverse for round 2. Mark, Bella's back to continue the conversation. There's like wildcatting, there's biker gangs, and all kinds of fun Friday things occurring today. So are you ready, Mark?
I am indeed.
Please.
Oh, thanks for coming back from your call. Appreciate your time. We were talking a little bit about the business, and of course, the oil price recently has been going down, challenging. Obviously, in your business, you've got a process to produce water coming out of the well. And one of the things that we have very interesting technology that was patented that we can actually provide a mobilized solution for. It's cost reduction. It really is about providing a sustainable technology. More importantly, it's about keeping your operations running. And I'd very much like to understand, are you finding challenges today with managing the produced water coming out of your wells?
That is definitely a significant challenge for us.
So what are you doing with that today? What's happening in terms of the process?
Yeah, we've been researching, different ideas and, different things that we can do. But we haven't found a great solution as of yet.
Well, it's interesting. I think obviously our technology would solve many of the problems that the oil companies are seeing, and in particular using flare gas for the energy. So we act as a carbon sink. The ability to take produced water and monetize the waste streams, such as your salts that come out of the produced water, metals, even the residual hydrocarbons. And then finally, providing potable water for either drinking or for agriculture. We've got a lot of technology that has been patented. And in fact, we are very
So are you talking about turning oil into water? Is that what I just understood?
No, we're talking about water into clean water, because actually, as you are certainly aware as the engineer that you are, for every barrel of oil that gets produced, 7 to 10 barrels of water get produced. And that 7 to 10 barrels of water today gets disposed down a hole, which is causing, as you know, in Oklahoma, microtremors. You've been involved certainly in Texas that you're living, and there in Austin, I think you said, you certainly know that there is a moratorium on use of flare gas, for instance, and the like. So you have a lot of costs involved today. I know it's challenging in your industry, is it not?
Yes, definitely.
So we have our technology solves both the cost problems, the disposal problems, the sustainability problem, and more importantly, it is a solution for the clean water needs of this nation. I mean, we have West Texas, New Mexico, Kansas, Oklahoma, all today are in drought condition. So I'd really like to get together with you and perhaps some of your team to discuss more deeply how our technology works. It's a mobile platform, and more importantly, it's cost effective. Does that sound like something that might interest you?
That absolutely sounds like something that would interest me.
Do you have a sense right now where your company's going as it relates to sustainability initiatives?
Yeah, I definitely have an idea for that. And I think that's something that the team and I could go over with you on our next call.
That'd be great, because I think it's important we deep dive into the technology and understand how the economics drive benefit for your business, more importantly for the environment. And certainly as a person that's been in the business for many, many years through her family, I think it's critical that we also demonstrate the good neighborly element of being an oil producer, and at the same time recognize the importance of the environment. So I look forward to our next meeting, and can I get a calendar and schedule that date?
Yep, we'll make that happen.
Very good. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Excellent. Mark, excellent job. Your energetic transference is very present. You have commanding presence, a lot of certainty, and those are really effective. So very nice.
It's interesting. The comments before about marriage, it's a generational issue. It's very, very funny. Because being a little older guy and being all over the world, that would never have been a problem. But in America today, it's a problem. And I recognize that immediately. So it's kind of funny. Having spent so many years overseas, it's far more comfortable doing business in a relationship basis overseas than it is in America today, because we have become so legalistic. And that is very, very interesting to me.
I hear you, brother. I have a couple of thoughts on a demo and how heart-centeredly we might be able to connect around those legalistic dynamics. But excellent job and great energy. Thank you.
It was fun.
Thank you. Bella, are you ready for Rick?
I am ready.
Bella, take us in, please.
Hi, Rick. I'm back.
Hey, Bella. Thanks for getting back to me. I know time is tight, so I really appreciate you finding more time to continue our discussion. When we were talking before, we were talking about things like the new normal and everything that's really very dynamic right now. And we started to narrow in a bit about the employee benefits program that we were talking about.
Yep.
But I'd like to understand a little bit more, since it is a big expense item for most companies. Can you tell me how you and your organization have been navigating the challenges of rising costs of employee benefits and the experience of your employees? Can you help me understand that a little bit more?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. So I've been looking at, we've been looking at different opportunities on, maybe how we can incorporate some wellness programs that, help keep our employees healthy. We have looked at, can we take people down to part-time? Like, what are all of our different options to help save money on medical costs, or, even taking people from employees down to contractors and things like that, so we can save on the medical.
Yeah, that's interesting and quite common for the people that I talk to in your position, where they're looking at ways to find alternatives to better manage the costs. Yet you always got to keep that in mind about the reason for employee benefits in the first place is to attract and retain your top talent. So it can be quite a struggle. So I appreciate hearing more specifics about what you're looking at. And interestingly enough, we spoke a little bit earlier about the tax incentives that are enabling this program, and combined in a new way. And interestingly enough on that is that, again, doesn't cost the employer anything. You actually net positive out of the program, but to the tune of about $350 per participating employee per year. And it's all voluntary. So it's not like you're having to, force this upon them. And the employees that participate and their families, they actually are net positive. So their paycheck actually goes up a little bit, which gives them the opportunity to buy additional benefits at no net cost to themselves. And as the employer, all you have to do is provide that payroll deduction support. And I like what you said about wellness, because I didn't get a chance to say this earlier, but this program also has a free wellness component. So a lot of companies like yours want to invest in wellness, but that's a big ticket item, pretty tough to do these days. Yeah. And it also has a part-time component. So both of those, I'm glad that you brought that up, because it has components that serves both of those as well.
Awesome. Well, this definitely sounds like a win-win. And so I think the next thing to do is probably set you up to have a conversation with my head of HR.
That is perfect. Let's set that up as soon as possible. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Excellent job. So Rick, how'd that feel for you?
Much better.
Nice.
Yeah. Starting to kind of understand the process here, and I felt better.
Nice. And Bella, how would you assess that round?
That was great. I was moving. Yes.
Nice. Okay. So Rick, would it be okay if I was you and you were a person running a 500-person company?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll call you Joe. I'll be Rick. Is that fair?
Yeah.
All right. So what is your name again, sir?
My name's Joe.
Nice. Okay. I say that because sometimes we'll do the role play and I'll say the name Joe and they're like, people are not responding. Like, so I wanted to lock you into that you're Jonas. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, right. Hey, Joe, thanks so much for taking my call today. It was a pleasure connecting at the conference last weekend. Really appreciate it. I know you have 3 minutes that you gave me to chat. So I really appreciate that, though. And I will absolutely be off in those 3 minutes. So thanks for taking the call.
Sure thing.
Yeah. So my intention is to see if in these 3 minutes, it's worth us having a follow-up call based on a couple of quick questions. When we're at the conference in the space of accelerating employee engagement, employee happiness, some of the things that you mentioned in your share had to do with your vision for just a different way of creating unity, culture. And if I could just lean in on that, Joe, I hear that all the time. And it's a beautiful thing, but I sense something a little bit different in your share about it. Like, what does that mean to you? Like, everybody says they want happy employees, but it seemed like there was like an extra bite there for you in it. Like, what's the vision? Like, what's driving that?
That's driven by the belief that we have as an organization that we really want to attract and retain top talent, but we really want the employees to feel fulfilled in terms of their ability to grow and just have the most rewarding opportunity possible, because we'll all benefit from that in the end.
Yeah, cool. And why are you doing this? You're working hard, you built a beautiful company. Like, why are you still going? Like, what's the vision for you personally?
I believe in what we're doing first and foremost. So I wanted to create an environment where I was doing something where I believe in it. And we have a team of people who are of like-minded beliefs in terms of what we're doing are good things. And we all want to make people's lives better as a result of doing that.
Mm. And so when you combine that like mission, vision, the employee population, if you could have it all your way, like what's the ultimate vision for this company? I know what you folks do is you're in the space of training and training people on employee culture, ironically enough. And so what's the ultimate vision of this and the impact you want to have in the world?
I think the impact and vision is going to be about, going through growth as responsibly as we can, that is not going to compromise these values that we have as an organization and the mission of what we're doing. So to attract as many people in support of that towards that common goal.
Cool. Well, listen, I know we only have about a minute to go or so. And thank you, for sharing that vision. It's clear you're focused, driven, ready to go. Your team, I could feel the energy of your team through you almost and their focus. And one of the things that comes up, so thank you for that share. And one of the things that comes up for me when I speak with a lot of fine folks like yourself running companies is the complex dynamic of the outrageous cost of employee benefits and the complexity. Virtually every single person I talk to says, hey, we switch companies and then they have a savings and then next year things rocket upward. And it's this complex dynamic of going through all the organizational dynamics of either absorbing outrageous cost hikes or transitioning to new companies. And the industry that we're in, Joe, is in a complex new way. Complex, not for you, for us, new solution to employee benefits that creates an enormous amount of ease for the employee, not only savings for you, but net profit through some of these programs, actually. So it's about a 15-minute explain. So before I ask for the 15-minute meeting, I just want to ask, how does that resonate for you? If that's actually true, that you can save money on benefits, actually profit through some of the things that you're doing and expand the things that your employees would have to create that acceleration, that connectivity into the future, how would a 15-minute meeting around that resonate for you?
Yeah, I'm very interested in hearing more about that because that's absolutely on point with what we're trying to do.
Awesome. Okay, out of roll, how did that feel for you, Rick?
It felt much more relationship nurturing because you spent far more time on that than I did. And I see the value of that because I was thinking for a moment, where are we going? And where we were going was building rapport, which really dropped my guard, my defenses, and that sort of thing. I could just feel that happening. And the transition to the point was smooth and easy. So I hope I see a recorded copy of this because I'm going to copy that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you for that. And listen, I have had the unique privilege of building 40-person law firm, 2 years out of law school, 100-person, 125-person law firm, now is my side business while I'm, speaking, training. I've broken sales records on stages in front of thousands of people, raised, $1.7 million in 26 minutes for a charity when people hope to raise only 500,000. No ego, no significance around it. Had 2 top 100 national jury verdicts in cases where we altered about 5 small things after 5 years, 2 weeks before trial, that took us from $4 million average jury verdicts to $27 million actual verdicts. And all of those things are about the superpower of influence and the power of its exponentiality. But the first principle is, if listening isn't open, like there's a formula that the deeper emotional rapport goes, the more we are heard. Because we are all speaking into filters. Everybody is filtering communication out. Everybody. Because we think we're going to die if we say yes to things.
Yeah.
Because our nervous system says we have a limited amount of resources in money, time, energy. And if I even listen to this, I know I'm losing resources. And my amygdala, that part of our brain, fight or flight, says I might actually perish from the resources that I'm sharing right now. So the authentic love of people, truly, right? The depth of creating connection with people equals decrease of filtering. So truth and information is received. Because what you have is extraordinary. Who wouldn't want to meet with you? People hear, quote, pitches. People are pitching, hooking, closing, which is why I also suggest the building of emotional rapport, the sharing of our concepts. Agreement formation is a different vibrational energy because we want our information to authentically get through the incredible guards that people have very understandably have to build up in the insane social dilemma, and it's actually a Netflix show, social dilemma we live in. So thank you for that, Rick. Bella, how'd that feel for you?
That was extraordinary and amazing.
Okay. Well, you are extraordinary and amazing. I appreciate you. Let's take it to the judges, Bella Rita. You want to run us through the judges?
Let's run. So let's start with Ruth.
All right. So great pitch, Sean. I actually wrote some notes too. I'm like, I'm going to use that too. I love that you set up his call. I'm like, this is a great call.
Yeah. And Ruth, by the way, if I may share, that share from you, I understand who you are, what you've done, what you've achieved, how you've exited. So that is received coming from somebody who is clearly masterful in influence. And I appreciate that. And I sense your standards. I sense your precision. And I'm very grateful for that acknowledgement. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
All right. For feedback for Mr. Mark, 32nd, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So first I wanted to say that you had some great question that you asked Bella, which was great. I found that you were controlling the call, which is great. It shows a lot of, you were able to navigate the call. But I find that maybe more questions to be asked. It was too much of you talking versus asking her more questions. Or I really feel that maybe it's an industry thing. Maybe because I am outside, or the way that we do things is differently, to ask more questions. So that would be my only feedback. But other than that, love your energy. And I love
your score is?
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. So it was great.
Nice improvement.
That's for good feedback. And you're right. And it is so industry specific. And sometimes it's very, as you already point out, I think that's very good observation too, by the way, because unfortunately industry sometimes have these languages all themselves, right? So observationally, you're absolutely right on target. So thanks for that feedback.
Okay, pleasure. All right. For Mr. Rick. So Mr. Rick was the opposite. So in terms of questions, he asked a lot of questions, which was great. It was smooth, all right? So different energy, much more smooth. And I love that he talked a lot about the benefits, tax conversion, lots of benefits. So that was really, really good. And I also love that while he was responding to the questions, Bella would say something and then he would respond based on that and say, you know what, I really like what you said in regards to that, and then continue to answer based on that. So that was great overall. And I would give 9 out of 10 for this one.
Nice. And Ruth, by the way, thank you for everything and for being here today. And how was your day today on the Real Raw?
It was great. It's my first time being part of Real Raw. Actually, I'm an accountable partner with Shiamba. She spoke to me about you and she told me, you got to be part of this. I'm like, I've heard about it. I'm not sure if I have the time. And it's so funny that you just mentioned that in regards to the limited resources that we put in ourselves. And I'm like, wait, I've got the time. And it's actually very enjoyable. So it was a great experience. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ruth. Miss Bella.
Ruth.
Yes.
Who we got?
Oh, who are we moving to now? This is a new decision for me. Let's go with Steve.
So let's take with Mark. Mark, I do agree with you. I thought that for sure you were getting more into the industry language of your business and wanting to. I was actually okay with you trying to see and elicit a response to see if she was understanding the industry at hand by throwing out some of the technical questions to see if her responses were, genuine, if she was actually genuinely listening and being attentive to the minutia of that type of industry, because it is such a technical industry that you would have to kind of figure that out to see if you're actually connecting. So.
And your score is?
I'd say that would be a 8.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
And as far as Rick, you were definitely more at ease. I think you got into your groove of how you normally, create your sales, chats with folks. So I felt that at that point you're being more genuine, wouldn't be the word, but just more real in the aspect of trying to connect with her, and by asking the questions and waiting for the answers, and then moving on to your next question to actually get to the point of selling your product and and having them feel comfortable in buying their product. So I enjoyed it. I thought that was very good. I give it a 9.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Steve, thank you so much again for being here today. Now, having been here, if somebody's like, hey, you should go on that Real Raw thing, I don't know if I should or not, like, what would you share with them?
I do. I think it's interesting. You got different folks here that definitely want to connect. You got different perspectives on how people treat sales. And like you said, everybody has their filters up and are selling, and have their own uniqueness about them. So I think this is a good thing. I have a friend of mine that would probably enjoy this as well. I talked to him over the weekend, and from what I see and from what I see on Facebook, I do enjoy what I see.
Well, thank you, sir. Really appreciate being here. And thanks for the awesome fun shares, man, on Fun Friday. It was terrific. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Miss Bella.
And last but certainly not least, Ms. Renata.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll start with Mark. Mark, excellent energy, off the charts. Hit it out of the ballpark for me, anyway. And I really, really enjoyed how you went through the benefits with her and drove the phone call, but at the very end, you tied into her emotions in terms of what she had shared with you previously about her family and why, taking into account the environment and the legacy and the good neighbor. So I was very, very happy with the call. And so score, I would give it a 10 out of 10 because I thought it was
boom.
Nicely done. Awesome. And for Mark,
I got back to that family thing without actually getting to the family.
yeah. On the right track. It was good.
That's right.
Really good. You corrected. It was excellent. Yeah. And for Rick, yeah, I thought this second time around were like major improvements. You already had a fantastic baseline, so this is just me nitpicking. What I really liked was that you asked a lot of questions and you had her talk and open up that way. I almost felt though there was just a tiny bit of a gap between where you are and what you're actually selling, in terms of you were coming from a space where I felt, and it could be my hallucination, that you were concentrating on employee benefits. But, for a lot of people, that means something else. That means like time with your family. Like I'm a mom. So like all these emotional triggers that, time with my husband, health, being able to, I don't know, whatever, pursue your dreams, travel, whatever. Like there were these emotional anchors that I feel like you were almost hinting at, but not like really carving into. And that would be the only thing. So I'd give you a 9 out of 10. And that was the only thing.
Thank you.
Nice. And Renata, how was today for you on the Real Raw?
Oh, awesome. I loved it. Congratulations. Yeah, was a lot of fun. I learned from everybody. So thank you so much. And even, the other judges, the feedback from the other judges was phenomenal. And I learned a lot. So thank you.
No. Well, thank you. Please send my best to Russell as well.
Yes, I will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. So Mark, excellent job, my friend. How was today on the Real Raw for you?
This was fun. It's interesting. You deal with the cultural issues of America. And I think to the point, as I was chatting there on the side, spending so much of my life overseas in so many different environments, it is interesting how Americans behave in the sales cycle versus other Europeans or Asians or Africans. And I certainly enjoy the kind of feedback we got today. Also, it was interesting, and I think it was pointed out from my perspective that you have two different sales cycles here too, right? A lot of times transaction sales versus long cycle sales is very different in terms of how you address them, as you're well aware of. I mean, in particular, you're selling, a major piece of industrial equipment. And so it's hard to do 3 minutes and bout through it, but this was really, really enjoyable. First, more importantly, than forget the role playing, just meeting everybody on this call was a lot of fun. That was more fun than anything. And frankly, that to me, role playing is role playing, right? It's your comfort level. But I have to say, meeting everybody here, even another Wildcatter, was kind of fun. So, and of course, he has a beard too, which is good stuff. Mine isn't quite that long, but my wife doesn't like long beards. So thank you for the opportunity. And I would highly recommend this for other people to participate in. And I'm looking forward to finding out the quote unquote Paul Harvey rest of the story shortly.
No, well, thank you. Wildcatters are in the building. So thank you very much, Mark. And Rick, last but not least on Fun Friday, how was this for you today, my friend?
Yeah, it was very beneficial, without a doubt. I didn't know what to expect or how it would roll, but quickly can figure that out. So that's a cool part about the way you've set this up for quick hits. And the main thing that I'm taking away from today is that I'm so in my own reality as opposed to spending more time and investing elsewhere. And I need to have that reminder all the time. And this is a really good kick in the pants on that. To say, look, hey, you don't worry. You're going to have the time to say what you need. And there are ways to build the relationship first, listen to who you're communicating with first, and then figure out the way that that's going to naturally and easily transition into where you want it to go. But without that, you don't have the rapport that you're going to need to get what you want accomplished. So you're kind of defeating yourself before you even get there. So I thought it was really powerful that way.
Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. We do fancy this as the talent hotbed in the world for increasing your integrous influence. Bella Verita, awesome job. Final, my friend. We got Michael Burnett coming up on Monday night from the largest stage and platform in the world of success resources. It's founder, CEO, as well as Dawood from 100 Black Interns, changing the world with some of the largest financial institutions in the world. So yes, Monday night, Bella, final.
Yeah. So, well, before we get to that, so now my first question is to Rick. Do you now see the benefit of Real Raw for Avenue? That's the big question. Yeah. Perfect. Job is done. That was the big question.
Yes.
So yes. Then have you been to a Monday night yet?
I have not.
So then my recommendation, now that you've seen what the Real Raw looks like, is to come Monday night and find out like what actually the full formula is, what like running Real Raw is all about, like why this platform is revolutionizing the marketing and sales industry, how people are going from like 8 sales meetings to like 650 sales meetings, how, companies are doing like $450,000 in sales without running any Facebook advertising or things like this. And we're going to be talking about how we do this with apparently Michael Burnett on Monday night at 7 p.m. So that is definitely the place that you want to be on Monday night.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. And thank you guys. And this is seriously about cause in this week where there's immense amount of pain, in our nation. This is about how we cause positive leadership, because without integrous influence, there is no acceleration of selling, marketing, recruiting, scaling, leading, nothing. And that's the space that we live in, operate in. Bella, you're extraordinary. I could not be more grateful. Rick, Mark, Ruth, Renata, Steve, thank you all so much for being here today. And Bella, we are all blind
and just learning to see.
Have a beautiful